Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back to Asylum. I was sitting here for a few minutes listening to this woman say some crazy shit, and I was trying to figure out what's going on. Turns out I had the Steam page open for Greedfall 2: The Dying World. I was wanting to read the reviews on the new update. Yeah. So anyways, here we are. Let's take a step back. That is old. That is old. Wait, did he clear out the rubbish that was right there? Or is it somewhere different? Okay, no way to move on. Okay, it looks like he cleared out the stuff that was right there. I think that's where I came from, the basement. Okay, so that's all new. That's new. But let's cover the ground floor first. This is new. This looks... What the hell? What? Where can I get a copy of that? I want to hang it up. Okay, so we got this room. We got... Oh my goodness, we got so many unlocked doors. We got laundry. Why does this stuff look very modern compared to everything else? Besides, the Institute demanded large and industrial washing machines to keep up with the demand. Well, I guess washing machines, they don't really change much throughout the years. The stench of these clothes was quite unbearable, and I didn't even think a good wash would fix that. There's plants growing out of the wall. I'm trying to hold space everywhere too, just to see if there's anything that I might miss. Alright, is this gonna make a little shortcut? No, this is outside, which may make a shortcut. The majestic yard in which so many patients communed and healed together was now in a sorry state, barely serving as a mere shortcut across the building. Is that a chicken coop? The shed appeared to be locked. Oh, this is a human shed. I guess, up here I'm at an elevated site. I just assumed. A once beautiful feature of the yard, the fountain was now filthy in shambles. Still looks pretty nice, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm sure it's looked better, but compared to other things I've seen, an old rusty door, which no longer served its purpose. Still could. There used to be such a pleasant smell in the yard. Hopefully, they'd be able to help this place regain its former glory. A broken wheelchair, and quite useless. Means it's just a chair now. Sitting here used to make one feel hopeful, but definitely not now. Sure, I can still remember the soothing sound of the water flowing, and part of me wished to see the fountain working again. Hey, it'll get there. Possibly. Maybe. I remember spending some time sitting here. It was a nice spot. I can tell. The stone benches were still in good condition. It was just the view from their vantage point that was horrid. Yeah, really, if you just started sitting down and everybody's sitting, you're kind of just locking eyes with the person across from you. They kind of get a shed. I guess they try to focus most of it on the fountain, though. I trusted they would restore it soon, as it had a mesmerizing effect on patients. Yet now, it only contributed to the creepy atmosphere. I don't really feel creeped out. Sturdy metal wire prevented me from opening the door. Well, hey. Look at this. The worn-out tool fell apart when I used it for the second time. R.I.P. Alright, so we got a shortcut here. That's nice. Oh, this is just more. No, this isn't exactly about the structure. Unsettling rumors in later years, dissatisfied employees at Henwell Mental Institute began to circulate wild stories about mistreatment on part of the executive staff, At the time, authorities ascribed the rumors to the general atmosphere of discontent at the Institute, as it was a matter of public knowledge by then that the erstwhile international prestige of the establishment had faded, its glory days long gone. The building was in an appalling state of disarray, displaying an evident lack of direction and maintenance. The situation became more serious when family members of patients began reporting an alarming number of injuries to the bodies of their loved ones. These ranged from severe bruises to burn marks, and in more extreme cases, fractures. Initially, the injuries were thought to result from unfortunate accidents related to the known issues besetting the mental hospital, including underfunding. What the hell just happened? Did my Go XLR mess up again? No, I don't think it did. Where was I? Issues besetting the mental hospital, including underfunding, understaffing, and growing workplace animosity. Eventually, however, burgeoning pressure from the public eye and human rights organizations prompted authorities to initiate a series of investigations into the establishment for the insane. Interviews with the Institute staff ensued. Testimonies from low-ranking workers and nurses included descriptions and anguished shrieks echoing through the hallways. Their precise source is difficult to locate. In one of the most sinister accounts, an anonymous report suggested the screaming was coming from underground. Other stories mentioned the disappearance of a certain number of patients, a phenomenon that often happened during the night. But the most chilling rumor of them all was that the patients were being deliberately subjected to various forms of torture. So they were being tortured, but they were also being used as miners. Unpaid work in the mines underneath the establishment, where I'm sure they ran into something not so great. Could be something Lovecraftian? Possibly. I don't know. When questioned about these scandalous allegations, Dr. Ellis Hawthorne dismissed them as gossip of employees not fit for their jobs. He argued on record that the distressing screams originated from the high-risk section, in which dangerous patients with a history of violence would regularly experience psychotic fits. As for patients disappearing from their cells, he stated that it was common for them to get lost in a monumental building. It's not a really good excuse, with hours sometimes passing by before they were found. Yet another reason why the upgrade to the unit system layout was a top priority of the administration. Hawthorne added, during this period of upheaval, Dr. Hanwell himself opted for a perplexing silence, never publicly commenting on the situation. With circumstances spiraling out of control, authorities continued to closely follow the events transpiring at the Hanwell Mental Institute. What if they just did all the upgrades to benefit from whatever they were doing below? This is a very comfy bathroom. Ew. What do you want me to touch here? What doth thou require me to touch? Just go back and that's it. Well, maybe that's for the best. Maybe I need a tool or something? I don't know. Maybe that pickaxe? The abandonment of the bathroom was evident when looking at the facilities. Yeah. Real and true. Huh. I finally found myself inside the therapy room. The whole place was in a state of disarray, as if everyone had left in a hurry. It's actually just a couple chairs knocked over. It seems to be a lot cleaner than most of the place. Oh boy, more words? Not really. Ebersbacher Group, what is that? Top left? Is that an S? Record of patients developing, development evaluation. Alertness, attitude. Okay. Notes. Patients in Group F show a marked improvement in their mood and awareness, as well as willingness to communicate and interact with their peers. The inexplicable regression in Group E continues to puzzle me. I'll discuss their individual issues separately. In Group E was the group that was taken below to the mines, right? Lenny used to be a kind of leader figure, very communicative, someone the rest of the group looked up to. But he's been more withdrawn recently, lost in what seems like the dark thoughts he refuses to share. The case of Hodgson Hodgson? I could guarantee a smooth session, provided nobody brought up anything related to the nature of his trauma. But he's growing increasingly tense and neurotic. Crawford had always been troublesome, but he seems more on edge than the usual. More on edge than usual. Even more of a problem these days, Rebecca should have been allowed an abortion. LaRoche beginning to believe he's a lost case. A hint of faint moonlight dared find its way inside the abandoned room. Yeah. This is LaRoche, the lost cause. Age 35, condition moderate. Male wing, first floor. Therapy group E. Profile. Bertrand LaRoche is a curious case. He is a shy, docile patient with a mind seemingly trapped in his innermost recondite thoughts. Coming from a family of French immigrants and having experienced a troubled childhood afflicted by war, LaRoche has always had issues making friends, no doubt in part thanks to his monotone, outlandish manner of speech. His verbal expression often devolves into unintelligible murmurs during otherwise plain and straightforward conversations. The current diagnosis is that this is assumed to be schizophrenic behavior. That being said, once someone earns his trust, LaRoche can become a capable and pleasant conversationalist. Yet recently, the patient seems less keen on communicating, often spending an unusual amount of time simply staring out of the windows in the game room. Specialists feel he will succumb to an irreversible state of catatonia. Poor LaRoche, what did he see below? The metal case was empty. Seems to be a missing reel. Oh, there's more. I guess I'm gonna need to find a reel. Wait, reel's found. Okay, crazy. Are these also? They're more. There's just more reels.
You are not in good shape, Bertrand. You know it will only get worse. You must talk.
I hate you. I hate this place. You're all bad with me and my friends.
You'll come to understand, Bertrand, eventually. But we must deal with this. You have a chance to end it right here, right now.
I don't believe you. You have been lying to me all this time.
That's not true. And if you tell me what you saw, it will all be over. It's that simple.
I can't remember. It's too fuzzy and dark.
Come on, Bertrand. Try harder.
No. I'm scared.
Come on. Tell me what you saw.
No. It will come for me. It knows. It knows.
Calm down or I'll have to call the guards.
It's inside me.
What? What is inside you?
What did they see in the basement? Obviously, this guy is a terrible administrator. How would I take this out? I don't know how to use one of these Super 8s. Do I just click the canister? Okay, what about this one? Oh, there are more. Okay.
Bertrand, are you feeling all right? Talk to me. Don't make me lose my patience. I don't have all day.
Leave me alone.
I understand you must feel angry, but we're doing this for your well-being.
You are lying. It hurts. I can't sleep. There are dark things in my dreams.
Just calm down. Take a deep breath and relax. We'll explain it to you, but you have to trust me.
I don't know. I am so tired. I can't think anymore.
What about your fear? Think about your last session. Do you remember now?
There's only darkness, and it moves there. It's been waiting, and now it knows we're here.
Only darkness, I guess. So that brings up the question, like, why would they, like, want to reopen the facility now? If they are aware of there being something wrong in the basement, below the basement, why would they want to come back now? You think this guy's like a new guy? He like heard about it through the grapevine, was like, yo, give me that shit.
Are you feeling better today?
More or less, I think.
Are you getting along better with work?
No. I don't like the tunnels. It's suffocating in them.
I'm sure you'll get accustomed in time.
No, it's not fair. I shouldn't be doing this.
What makes you say that?
Because it doesn't feel right. Being there. I don't think that is what I was brought here for.
But you are helping. You should feel proud of yourself. Are you in doubt because of something else? Are you scared, for instance?
Yes, I am. I don't want to go into the dark place again. They said it was going to be all right, but I could feel the monster coming for me.
Monster?
What monster?
Well, that's gonna be fun to run into. Now exactly why are we trying to get into the basement? I get we want answers, but if there is a monster, maybe we tell the security guard with a baton. Be like, yo, hey, go check it out. Be the hero, get paid. Alright, we got this last one, and then we might find another that's supposed to go up there. On that little bottom right one.
How are you feeling today?
Tired. I want to sleep.
I'm sorry to hear that. How was your day?
It was fine, I guess. We played some games in the afternoon. They are always the same, but I still like them. But the others aren't so happy.
It's understandable. We'll try to get you some new games. Has anything of importance occurred to you lately?
A new woman arrived today with a big belly. She is pretty. I like her. But she was hysterical and punched Nurse Marion on the face.
I know, and we're dealing with that. But I was referring if anything has happened to you lately.
I don't know. I am so tired.
Why are you tired? Tell me. We're here to help.
It's being down there, working with all the dust and the bugs. It's too hard. I'm too tired. I can't stand them anymore.
What is this that you can't stand anymore?
The voices. They are everywhere, and they whisper inside your head. They are evil.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I realize they probably don't get a lot of sleep at all. Like, if this guy goes to get them at night to work in the tunnels and are expected to be present during the day for their therapy, their treatment, they do not get sleep. And this one, it's empty. But let me clean up after myself and put this reel away. Alright, get me out of here. This is a pregnant chick who we saw in our car at the beginning. In my sudden vision, I was part of a group of patients in the therapy room. A female doctor seemed to care about the session, not us, but merely the outcome of the session. I mean, not to play devil's advocate, but if the session is good, that's got to be somewhat helpful, right? What the hell is this? It looks very broken.
Since the renovation
Never
of the
mind.
institute began, more patients have become agitated and difficult to manage, as if it was the architecture of their own bodies being reconfigured. The construction work has disturbed their existence in a way I couldn't predict. Some are even presenting with odd injuries, which none of the nurses can explain. Are the patients harming themselves? Is this building so firmly interrelated with their identities that changes in its structure will impact their states of mind by means of a kinesthetic regression? They rationalize structural changings in the surrounding geometry by imprinting them in their own flesh. Hodgson's is the worst example. Where are those burn marks coming from? I made inquiries and nobody saw him get burned. Perhaps he was allowed to assist in the kitchen and he refuses to discuss the burnings. And knowing how much the subject terrifies him, I did not press him further. But the scars are disturbing other patients in Group E. They believe his scorched skin is some kind of heavenly punishment or stigmata. And they're all going to suffer the same fate. This is ridiculous and degrading. They were my best group, my most remarkable achievement. Yet no one gives a damn. I swallowed my pride and consulted directly with Alice. But the pompous asshole suggested it was my inexperience at fault, my responsibility to ensure the safety of patients. So what the hell are you supposed to do then? Instead of hiding in your office, do something about your staff. And when the moron isn't jerking off at his desk, he supervises the construction work. Why is a psychiatrist so deeply involved with the conversion to the unit system? None of this makes sense. I hate myself for losing my mind. Every therapy session is now a burden. I need to reconnect with the patients. They must tell me more. Lenny is still more forthcoming than the rest, but he won't say a word about the bruises. And Hodgson's, how did you burn yourself like that? If not the kitchen, the only other place. No.
The furnace?
Impossible. They're not allowed down there.
Yeah. It seems like she cares about the patients, but also cares about her performance as a doctor. So I kind of understand this guy's POV on why he says she doesn't care, but clearly she does care about both. I feel like maybe our main character here was convinced that she didn't care, but I don't know. I think we're done in that room for a little bit. Just go back here. What is this? The food cart must have made long trips down the halls of the institute back in the day. Yeah, probably. The fence had come loose from the window, which I trusted would be fixed for reopening. Possibly. Possibly something we shouldn't need to worry about right now. Okay, where are we? We're here. What is here? What does that say? Passage? Say passage? Oh, the game room. We're close to the game room in the library. game room used to burst with activity in its heyday. It was a fine accomplishment of the Institute that patients could coexist peacefully playing games together, but now the room was in shambles. To be honest, it looks better than most. That's honesty. This place doesn't look half bad. It looks kind of... You can pick up a few of these chairs and you're alright, especially over here. More chairs. The game room had been designed to hold a large number of patients in it to play games. Crayons? A red crayon was in better shape than the others, so I took it with me. Just an old toy. Is that a nail in replace of a leg? That's cool. They reminded me of my childhood. I used to like the smell of crayons. It was quite an inspired piece of art in my opinion. I can't zoom in and scroll over there. What is that, Anne? Alright, I think we're done here. The sofa might have been comfortable once, but at present sitting here was out of the question. It looks a little moldy, but I think it... maybe we shouldn't touch it. A completely dried plant. I believe the correct word is dead. Completely dead plant. Yeah, we got a door there. Let's go over here. The radio's batteries were dead. Okay. So we can go through that door or that door. What a mess. What happened in this place? That table looks like it was cut completely in half. Pretty hardcore. I think that's all that's over here. It's just looking at that table. Alright, let's go back. The library. No idea which books were at the end of this ladder, but likely the more boring ones. Okay. Varied selection which, unsurprisingly, didn't match the category of this section. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know what the category is. Oh, it's pharmacology. Right. What would you like me to touch here? Maybe I'm just zooming in on it? I don't see anything touch-worthy. I feel like this is a puzzle, though. I don't know why. The window was covered in some kind of mold. They were going to spend a long time cleaning up this place. Let's get a pressure washer. Easy peasy. Another collection of books unrelated to my search. What am I searching for here? I need to speak with Lenny? Visit the upper floors? Investigate about Bertrand. I suppose Lenny would be able to shed some light on those old memories from the construction site. A new area in the building was available for me to investigate. What? What did you just try to make me say? Okay, new rooms, whatever. Alright, that was easier. The patient from the tapes, this Bertrand, whose name sounded oddly familiar to me, seemed to have been subject to a disturbing interview. For what purpose? I had to learn more. Yeah, I think I need to find that last reel. Yeah, is that gonna be like a coded... This is a coded... Looks like it needs a key. Wait, where does this take me? Oh, I'm right out here. Okay, shortcut. Cool. That would have also been very funny, though, if it had me do a puzzle just to make a shortcut, because I totally forgot that it was one. Excuse to spend some time reading alone. Yeah, but then your back is turned to a lot of people, and I don't trust that. I don't like that at all. It's not interesting going in there. I wouldn't be able to distinguish the titles because of lack of lighting. It's very It's very true. It's a lot of lighting over here. Look at all that lighting. What am I looking for? A random collection of books. Nothing that seemed important for my search. These seem like the oldest books from the library. They smelled like papyrus. Okay, I know what that smells like. Just yellowed old pages. I couldn't say if there was anything of importance written as they were utterly unreadable. Alright. Just another random collection of books. Castle of the Forest. Looked like some fairy tale. It was still dark and quiet outside. Volumes are standing quite old. A few of them would probably crumble upon the slightest touch. Do I actually need any of these books? The Conspiracy Against the Human Race did seem like an appropriate read for this gloomy night. Wait, an old unpublished. No! 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 Alright, Alright, I need water first. I would mute to drink, but I think my GoXLR Mini is, dying. Stereotactic transorbitable brain biopsy equipment. Draft of instructions. Alright. Warning. This equipment is still undergoing extensive tests. Any use of this machine on a living person must be supervised by a qualified professional. The Stribe? The hell? Is a novel device capable of extracting a brain tissue sample without performing a craniotomy. It makes use of the empty space around a patient's orbital to reach areas of the brain without damaging the eye or causing long-term facial paralysis. Depending on the cranial structure of the patient, the coordinates of the transorbital device may need to be reconfigured in order to determine the correct angle for the procedure. The subject's height is not factored into the coordinates calculation. Since the head should always be fixed in the proper position, ensure that the subject's body lies comfortably on the bed, which can be extended for this purpose. Coordinates are calculated according to body mass, gender, and age. For example, an adult male weighing around 80 kilograms may need an angle between 180 and 190 degrees. The margin of error is calculated by the machine and compensated for using state-of-the-art sensing component to aim the correct entry point in the patient's left orbital. The needle may retract and move forward a number of times during this process, which is normal. Is this the machine from Dead Space 2? Note: the device always aims for the left orbital by default, while recalibrating for the right orbital is possible. This makes no practical difference for the procedure. Before starting the procedure, be sure there is a professional validating the data provided by the control panel and assistant positioned close to the patient in case of a reflex action during the procedure that could lead to irreversible damage to the patient's eye. Properly securing the harness should minimize the possibility. For a successful procedure, follow the steps below. Turn on the equipment using the control panel. Rotate the principal knob to the appropriate unit that corresponds to the patient's cranial dimensions. This will set the target coordinates. The person assisting the professional should evaluate whether everything is in the correct position, particularly the harness. It is recommended to also check the position of the extractor needle and the bed. The supervising professional at the control panel may pick up the wired activator and press the button to set the procedure in motion. Wait until the extractor needle finalizes the procedure and is fully removed from the patient's orbital. If blood leaks through the puncture, wipe it with a disinfected towel. There is no need to treat the puncture. 6. Once the machine completes the procedure, the fluid containing the sample will be located in the sterilized receptacle behind the extractor component. It then can be taken with a standard syringe, but be sure to properly sterilize the syringe so as not to contaminate the sample. 7. Inspect the patient's orbital for any unexpected damage. Then have the patient remain seated on the bed to recover from any dizziness. 8. The brain sample is ready to be examined under a microscope by a qualified pathologist. The procedure is expected to last 5 to 10 seconds depending on the lobe from which the sample will be extracted. Sulcal depth must be accounted for in this calculation. Following the procedure, the patient may experience impaired vision and difficulty articulating facial muscles, but these effects are expected to subside within an hour at most. Lung cancer, pancreatic tissue with possible incipient carcinoma, biopsy of prostate cancer, a rare type of gastric adenocarcinoma, histopathology of rat colonic tissue, benign microglandular adenosis in mammary gland, biopsy of unidentified brain tumor, rat cerebellum tissue. Oh, I'm glad the record book is. What the hell did we add to this? Just crayon? God, that was a lot to read. Oh, man. Alright. So. Let us... Actually, is there anything over here? No. Let's go back. Because I believe... playing games when it was cold because of its privileged position near the fireplace. Yeah. Fireplace was a nice way to get the room warm back then, but the staff needed to keep a close eye on the more unruly patients. Back in the days, it was nice to sit in this cozy sofa by the fireplace. That would be nice if it was cold. If it was hot, that'd be hell. Okay, I think I've explored everything on this floor. Or everything new that is popped up. That takes me to the laundry, right? I think I abandoned this area, so let me go back. A sad and naked plant, which might have been gorgeous and colorful once, decorated the center of the gallery. The perfect metaphor for Hanwell Mental Institute. Is this supposed to be Anne? Dr. Anne Ibisbacher, psychologist. Chilling. You think that's chilling? You think that is chilling? This is supposed to be chilling. What about that woman with her titty bitten off? What is that supposed to be? Huh? Seductive. Let's go over here. Dr. Ellis Hawthorne, psychiatrist. What the fuck? Is that a woman giving birth? I don't recall if patients were allowed inside the gallery, but with these sorts of paintings, I hope not. She's like missing a breast. It looks infected. I'm not sure if that was an actual, like, clinical thing. I don't want to sound like an asshole. Impossible. Someone was going to have to tear the door apart to get it open. Alright, so did this room just present me with a woman missing a boob? I guess we know what Anne looks like, and we know what Ellis looks like. So that's helpful, I suppose. Don't know if there's anything else. Alright. Let's get a good look at these stairs. What if I'm just greeted with locked doors? Oh, fuck. Okay. Creepy noises? Cool. We're here. There's a... Why is there a museum? And a mental institute. There's a third floor. Just satisfy my curiosity. It's blocked. Seemed to be Lenny's car. Perhaps he was getting ready to clean the topmost floor. Okay. So we're probably going to run into Lenny here on the second floor. Alright. We have What is that? Is this the oil detector? Museum, morgue, laboratory, some rooms, female hospital, male hospital. And then that's gonna lead us back over there. We were told not to come here, but Lenny is up here. Who the hell is... Who the hell signed above Lenny? Was that Lenny, but just terrible handwriting? Alright, well, I think I'll put a pin in it for this episode. We explored, we got some theories, we're learning. This is going to be a lot to explore. So yeah, we'll get started on this in the next one. Let's see. Let me figure some stuff out, because I got this series, which I do like this game. Look Outside, which I also like Look Outside. But I think if I have to put a pin in any of the other games I'm playing, Look Outside would be one of them. I'll put a pin in. Schedule 1, incredibly fun game. Really enjoying that. And then, Graven, which I am putting a pin in Graven. Just not... I don't love it. I don't want to quit it, but I'd rather record these other games and have them posted more regularly than Graven. And Karna, The Dark World, which came out as of recording today, and I had it just downloaded. So I'll plan on recording that one tomorrow night. It's probably going to be up before this one goes up. So it feels weird to talk about, but yeah. Anyways, I'm going to shut up and get out of here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.